If you like my videos, I save the coolest stuff for the Patreon. You can sign up for $10 and instantly get all of the videos. You can quit whenever you want, of course. I do private tutoring as well. My email is below if anyone is interested. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Ultimate Unreal Engine 4 series. Today we're going to be talking about game modes. Now, game modes are really cool. They define all of the rules for the game. These are things like what character do we play as, how many points do we need to win, how do we win the game, is friendly fire turned on. Basically anything that you would consider a rule, things like that generally get defined inside of the game mode. A quick note that I have here is that in multiplayer games, only the server has access to the game mode. Now I figure a lot of people watching these videos are going to be interested in how to make multiplayer games, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on. It's quite an advanced topic, but I figure I may as well introduce you now, and the first little thing is only the server has access to the game mode. I think that's a bit of a feature to stop people from cheating, because the server is kind of the boss of the game. It's the authority, we call it. But anyways, I'll see you guys over at our project. Go ahead and boot that up, and we'll make a game mode, and I'll show you how to use it and all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm inside of my project now in Visual Studio, and you'll notice if we come over to the Solution Explorer over here, it actually comes with a game mode by default. You'll notice it says game mode base and not game mode. The reason for that is because there's two types of game mode. There's game mode, and then there's also game mode base. And game mode base is a little more lightweight. Game mode comes with a bunch of stuff that you may never need, and so game mode base is just what it defaults to. We'll go ahead and run the debugger because I want to show you the game mode actually taking effect and where you even select the game mode, just things like that. So we'll run the debugger and I'll show you how all of that works. Okay, so we have a C++ class set up to define the game mode, but something you might want to do, just because it makes it easier to edit things, is create a blueprint of this. You can create a blueprint of this just like we did for my pawn as well. So I'm going to do that now. We'll go ahead and right click and make a blueprint class. I'm going to put this in content, and I'm going to call it BP underscore YouTube game mode. I'll just get rid of the base part because we don't really need that. And you can see here that there are not really any rules defined. The only rules we can define right now is we can define a default player name. We can tell it to use seamless travel, which is to do with networking. We can start the players as spectators. And we can also set the game to be pausable or non-pausable. And then all of this stuff here is the default pawn that spawns in, the spectator pawn, and so on. So what we'll do is, I'm not going to change any of these settings, but we do now have the blueprint version of the game mode, and I'm going to make Unreal use my blueprint version. In fact, you can see we made this pawn in the last video, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my game mode, and you remember I said that one of the rules is what player do we want to play as. You can see here the default pawn class is set to default pawn. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click the drop down, and I'm going to click on blueprint my pawn. So now what this does is my game mode defaults to use my pawn, and that's exactly what we'd want to do, right? You might have one level of your game be a racing game, right? And so you would set the default pawn to be the race car. You might have another level where it's a free-for-all deathmatch and you want to run around with a guy that has a gun. You could then set default pawn class to be a pawn that, you know, can shoot a gun. So you can customize this, and I've gone ahead and just chosen my pawn. We'll go ahead and compile and save. And one thing is that I cannot just hit play. It will not spawn my new blueprint pawn in, and the reason for that is we need to actually tell it to use the new game mode that we made. To do that, you want to go to Edit, Project Settings, click on Maps and Modes, and finally you have the default game mode. We're going to go ahead and select BP underscore YouTube game mode. Close that, hit play, and you can see that our character spawns in by default. I'm not sure why we don't have the camera following it, but you can see that it is spawned in. I'll actually figure out later on why that's happening, but you can see it spawns in. We can tell the game mode to spawn off different things, and that's pretty cool. I think it's something to do with camera attachment why that wasn't following, but anyways, really quick video, but I did want to briefly cover game mode. In future videos we'll actually cover some other classes that are similar to game mode, there's this other one here. If we go down, you can see game state. Game state is one that we'll be covering in a future video. Game state is the current state of the match. So the game mode defines the rules of the match, and game state will actually define the current state of the match. So how many kills does each team have currently, or, you know, things like that. So anyways, I know this is a short video, but I did want to cover the game mode at some point because it is a really important part of Unreal. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.